Hi, everybody. Great to be here with Marion Billet. Welcome, Marion.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
No, thanks for coming. You're a children's author, and this is going to be a fascinating discussion. We really want to know, we want to dive into the world of children's literature, of the work you do, and what it tells you about intelligence. So let's start a little bit with you. What's your story? Take us through your story, where you're from, your childhood.
Mm-hmm. So yes, my name is Marion Billet. I'm French, as you can hear. I'm a children's book author and mostly illustrator. So I'm mostly drawing all the pictures on the books. I came from Lyon, which is my hometown in France. And then I moved to Paris, and I lived in Paris 15 years. And I studied illustration in an art school for 4 years. It was really hard, but also really interesting. Maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later. And yes, I moved to the US almost 6 years ago, and I'm still doing my job here, and I love to draw every day for children's.
So you're really following your passion.
Yes. Oh, yes. I think since I'm a child, I was drawing every day, like all the time. It was, I was an only child, so I was like sometimes by myself in my bedroom, and I think drawing was a way to escape and to just imagine new stories and create new possibilities and new words. And of course, when I was a kid, I didn't know that it was a job, that it was possible to do it as a job. I think I discovered it in maybe sophomore year. I was drawing all my teachers to make my friends laugh. and one of my friends told me, oh, you can do it like as a proper job. And I was like, really? Do you think it's a job? And then I do my research, and I found that it was possible to do like an art school in my hometown or in Paris. So I search up, and I've done this, art school in Lyon, Émile Cole. And it was so interesting to be able to do what I love every day. It was hard, of course. It was a lot of work. But yeah, doing like drawing and creating things every day was just amazing.
And what brought you to the City of Angels?
Thanks to my husband. He's working for Disney. He's a artistic director at Disney. And we always wanted to come to LA. We were, fascinated by California. We already had friends that were living in California, so we were visiting them every year. And when we had this opportunity in 2020 during pandemic, it was quite a challenge. We had to move our family in 3 weeks from Paris. So it was challenging, but it was, I think, so exciting, and we were so happy to be here, really.
How did you manage to do that in 3 weeks?
I was not sleeping. It was
not.
Yes, it was very hard. We were very tired, but also so excited. So I think it was a good balance. And then when we arrived, we were so happy and so excited to be in the nature, to be able to hike in the mountains, to go to the deserts, to go to the beach, that then we forgot everything else, and we were just so happy.
I wanted to see if you agree that, I've been here in Los Angeles in California for a couple of months, and I've lived in France as well. And of course, they talk about the south of France being a place that attracted a lot of artists because of the light and the natural beauty. I find that this part of the world really piques the imagination, and it's just a great place to be if you've got any kind of artistic predilection. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, exactly. Like especially right now in the winter, the light, I think every day it's been almost 6 years, and I'm still astonished by the lights. It's pinkish, it's purple sometimes, and I think almost every day I go outside in the backyard and I just look at the sunsets, and every night it's different, especially like in December and January, and it's so inspiring to see those beautiful skies, and it's the lights, it's true a little bit like south of France, but here I think it's even more spectacular. It's so inspiring, and And sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I will go back to paint something because the light is so attractive. So we'll see. It's still in process, but yeah, I can totally feel that. Like California is really like a good source of inspiration for artists.
Here. Over to Professor Hamilton.
Well, every day is different in terms of what you see. The vista is different. The sun comes down on everything differently, so it feeds the imagination every day. So I'm excited to talk with you because I have such great memories of learning through illustration in children's books in French. So I grew up on Asterix, and as I think about Asterix the comic, I'm taken, and then looking at the books that you've written and illustrated, I'm sort of taken by the combination of color and how images are created in ways that young children can understand or see. And at the same time, it was a very powerful way to learn. It's sort of like this artistic gifting combined with helping me learn. I don't know if any of that reflects on you, but I thought at the outset I would just say I was really grateful, and that's just one of my favorite memories of childhood is French children's books.
Yes, totally. So that's why I feel very like gifted and happy to be able to create for kids, because I think it's memories that they will have forever. And sometimes I have like teenagers coming to me when I'm doing signature, and they're like, oh, that's the book I used to read when I was a kid, and I still remember it. And they're very like, they're smiling and still they're teenagers. So it's very, I think it's something like, it's kind of a mission to illustrate for young audience, especially like I'm working for kids from, 0 to 6 years old.
Right.
So it's really like preschoolers or young kids. And yes, I try to create some good memories just through images, because usually at that age, it's only the illustration that really attracts the kids. The words came a little bit later. So you have to be very powerful, but also very simple at the same time. So you need to create like an image that is attracting the eye. And also I love to do small details just for the parents, because usually the kid is reading the book with the parents, and it's nice to have a little detail, like a second story to read. And for the parents, it's like something funny, or like a little ladybird or a little bee that is just smiling at people or hiding somewhere. And
you're communicating to two audiences.
Exactly, and that's what makes it really funny, because you have to think about the kid first, of course.
But you're playing a little joke also at the same time.
Yes, because when you're a parent, you're usually reading a book every night, and I think it's a really nice moment that you have to share with your kid at night. So being able to have a book that you like is so important, because you're gonna read it a lot if your child likes it. So I try to focus on that.
So growing up, you said that you would draw your teachers and sort of, the
Caricatures.
Caricatures. You realized at some point, I guess, that you had a gift for drawing. Do you feel that the education you had, maybe before you went to art school, was preparing you for that avenue, was nurturing that, or did you have to sort of chisel it out on the side?
Yeah, not really. I don't think I was really prepared for that, because first I didn't know that it was a proper job. I think it changed, because for me it was like a while ago, like 20 years ago. So I think it changed now the view on artists and on illustrators in general. But no, I think I was just like drawing all the time. For example, when we were going to the countryside at my grandma's house, there were no toys, but she had so many papers. So every time I was arriving there, I was like going directly to the ceiling, taking the paper, and I was just like drawing animals, cutting them, and then I was playing with them all day long, and that was my toys. So I was creating my own games at that time, and I think that then it became like, just something I love to do. But I don't think I was really prepared by school, because the art classes were nice, but not really like interesting like as I want it to be. So I learned this. I learned that after at school, during my art school. That's where I really learned to be more like I don't know, like more specific on my illustration, to develop more my own style and my own projects.
Go ahead.
Do you think that, I mean, I'm interested in the idea of you not really knowing what to do and therefore your mind wandering and you being creative that way. Do you think that that's less easy now for young people with screens and technology? Or?
No, I think it's easier.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's easier because they have more possibilities, I think. I think that now art is like, we have so many different art schools now. When I was younger, there were like maybe 3 different art schools that were really good. And now we have more and more artists or illustrators. I think it's easier because also thanks to internet or Instagram, they can, like, kids can see different artists and see what they're doing, and they're usually explaining their path to go like as an illustrator. So I think it's a little bit easier now.
That's great to hear, because there's a lot of sort of anti-tech discourse around learning nowadays, that it's getting in the way of cognitive processes and some of the sort of slow learning that we need. But I like the fact you're actually reminding us of all the opportunities that technology creates.
I sort of like some of the anti-tech, even though I'm a techie person. I suppose most people would say that. When you draw and when you have books that are seen and read visually, physically, do you think that the children or their parents have a different experience than seeing it on the screen? And then I have a quick follow-up to that.
Yes. So yes, of course. So first, the smell. I mean, for me, I love to read my books on paper because I love to smell them. It's really something, I need to touch them. And especially for kids, you don't want your 3 years old to hold like a tablet to read a story. No, you want the kid, the baby, just to take the book. Usually they eat my book. So when I'm doing signature, the parents are bringing back the book and it's half open with like, it's a mess, but it means that they really love it. So I love that. And usually the parents are like, oh, I'm sorry, look, it's really in a bad shape. I'm like, no, it's great. It means that they love it. So
that's the part about that's the non-tech part that I really like.
Well, it reminds me of the French philosopher Roland Barthes. He wrote this book about the plaisir du texte, the pleasure of the text. And he actually goes into the physicality, the sort of palpable physical experience of reading. And this is before, technology sort of took over everything. But the sound, the smell, the tactile.
Exactly. I'm also doing a lot of touch and feel books. So you need to, of course, like, size the book and touch the different fabrics. And of course, I'm working on that collection of sound books. So you don't want that on an iPad or something. You want your child to be able to take the book, and sometimes they also sleep with the book next to them. And it's so cute. It's just part of the, like a toy. It's a friend.
Better than sleeping with an iPhone.
Better than sleeping with an iPhone. But on the other side, now I love this physicality. This makes a lot of sense, and I think a lot about what's going on in the brain. What are the neural mechanisms taking place? And I am of the mind, as you just said, that seeing on a screen differs from holding it. But I'm also aware that a lot of your books are translated into, or they're used in, for example, YouTube videos or audiobooks, in which case there's an oral dimension and there's a talent behind that then adds a different kind of dimension. So actually for every book that you illustrate or write, there are actually several versions of it that children experience. There's either an audible version of it or YouTube where someone is holding the book and they see it. They see the shiny covers. They see the images. can you reflect on that a little bit in terms of what you think children experience?
Yeah, usually this like the YouTube videos are more for parents, like advertising, but I don't think the kids are really looking at those videos.
Even when they're being read?
No. I think the parents are really taking the real book and showing it to the kids.
Right.
And then maybe they just search up on YouTube to find other titles and that they will like, and then they're gonna buy it. But I don't think that parents are gonna show the YouTube video to the kids. It sounds, especially for young audience, maybe for older kids, but
because some of the videos get very talented voice actors or performers that will read and give different intonation, different voice for different characters, even though they're short. So it's very interesting to try to think through what kinds of experiences both the children and their parents have for different renderings of your books.
Yeah, maybe that should be parents' job to try to do the different voices. It's pretty funny.
Be. Yeah.
They should just look at the video on YouTube and then try to practice and be a little actor and then try to do it. It's really funny to do it with your kid. I don't think you really need a video. It's
right.
It's like a private moment you want to share with your kids. So you should just try to do that silly voice. And yeah.
I remember as a child, like so many, millions of children out there really, bedtime stories and books like Where the Wild Things Are. Or there was one, The Hungry Caterpillar.
Yes.
And my mom reading it to me and us looking at the illustrations and just how wonderful it was for the imagination. And I always tell parents, you have to read to your children at night, even to quite an advanced age. It's a magical moment. Yeah. Do you do that? Do you read bedtime stories to your kids?
Of course. Well, now she's 11, so no. But as a kid, of course, I started. I think she was 2 months old, and I started to read her stories. Of course, she was just like a baby, but yeah, starting I think 6 months old, I saw that her eyes were following like some like attractive part of the illustration, and then it gets more and more like interesting as your kid is growing up. Like you can see really and feel the interaction. So of course I was reading a lot of books, and I had so many books at home, and I think it really helps to create a connection with your kid, and it's one of the best souvenir. It's like, yeah, you can see what your kid likes, what kind of stories, what kind of colors. It's a good memory.
I was going to ask, as an illustrator, as an artist, this must have influenced your parenting. Are there things that you do as a parent that you think are influenced by the fact that you're a children's illustrator? Maybe you do a bit more artwork with your children. Any kind of keys that you can share with us to bringing up a child as an artist?
So I think my best advice is to be able to do nothing. Like your kid needs to have quiet moments. So depending on the age, but starting 2 years old, your kid can just have a quiet moment for 20 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, and then it goes up and don't overwhelm the kids with a very busy schedule. Like when he goes back at school, from school, he needs to go in his bedroom and have a quiet moment. He can just read, and maybe that's the time where he will take a piece of paper and draw something or create his own story. It's so important to just be able to get bored. It's important to develop creativity. I think it's the key. Like starting at a young age, you can really start like really young, just a few minutes, and then it goes higher and higher, and then your kid will not be afraid to be by himself, and he will have this time for himself just to think about projects or I don't know, create a movie or anything.
Did you have those kinds of times when you were?
Yes, a lot. Yes.
Vraiment.
Oh yeah, okay. I was. Yes. I think that's why I have a lot of imagination because I had a lot of moments where, especially on the weekends, I was like, okay, well, what should I do?
That's why I was asking about technology, because you're talking about unstructured playtime, mind wandering, and we agree that's so important for your creative ideation. but we are saturated nowadays with devices. And so I'm assuming that, most young people, unless parents are actually intervening and doing something about it, they're not having that kind of downtime. They're just overstimulated.
Yeah, you just have to take it. Like, of course, my daughter, she loves video game, and I like video games too. It's good, but just you have to say, okay, now you have 1 hour, no screens, nothing, and you just create something in your bedroom, and then it will come like with great projects. You have to. Of course, don't say no screens, or because we're in 2026 and it's not like all bad, but it's nice also to have moments without any screens and just be able to have a paper, or I don't know, create a recipe, or try to do a movie in your bedroom, like build a fort or anything that is good for imagination. And you can also do it and then do a little bit of video game. It's fine.
I don't think we understood and are only now coming to see the effects of screen in terms of, and I'll go back to neural mechanisms or dopamine hits, that we weren't aware in the way that smoking is addictive, that dopamine hits through screen or screen scrolling can be far beyond anything that we understood. So this notion of stepping back and developing some more, I think it's not just social balance, but physiological balance, not being bombarded by something that's activating chemicals in our brains, gives us more chance to let the rest of the brain function. Let me ask, if I can, while you were developing your creative side growing up, what were you experiencing in school? You had art classes that I gather were middling. They were fine, but were there subjects or areas of schooling that you may have struggled with? And
no, I loved school, and it's funny because when I had my baccalaureate, I decided to go to art school, and some of my teachers were like, "Oh, it's weird. You should do like a better cursus." And I was like, "No, that's really what I want to do." And people were looking at me like, "Oh, she wants to be an artist. She's going to art school. That's so weird." Like, oh,
really?
Oh yeah, a lot. And no, I was like, that's what I want to do, and I want to try it, and we'll see how it goes. But
no student here will ever hear that, will they?
No, globally, we have a problem with not enough of the arts in school, particularly in high school, when we know that it's such an important area of development, and we really need to fight for the arts, subsidize the arts, and encourage students and parents to follow their passions in the arts if that's where they are. And it's great that your parents that you do that. And I can imagine, people, especially if you're an academic student, think, "Oh, you sure you want to go into the arts?
Yes.
Shouldn't you be doing, business, commerce, engineering, this kind of thing?" I mean, and that leads us to really the core of this, which is about what intelligence is and what kind of intelligences we should be nurturing in the 21st century. So the first question for you is, how would you define, Marion, how would you define intelligence? What is intelligence for Marion Billet?
Okay, wow.
That's a good question.
That's a good question. So I think for me, intelligence, it's not only knowing a lot of things. It's more like the ability to adapt to different situations, to be curious, to connect to each other. For example, at school, some kids may feel that they're not really intelligent compared to others because it's very academic, but they could be like amazing at so many things. So it's not only being good at math or science. Being intelligent is more being able to adapt and connect with the world, like being able to take risks too. I think it's really important to just follow your path, follow your dreams, and take risks, especially for the students. Like when you're young and you want to do something, even if it sounds a little weird, you should take the risk. You're 20, even like 17, so do it. So for me, that's intelligence.
And also overcoming resistance from others or others looking, saying, "Why is she doing that? Why is she going to art school?" So on behalf of all the children and parents that love your work, thank you for overcoming those doubts that people sent your way.
Yeah, I like the way you're talking about an attitude, not just a cognitive disposition, but just my risk-taking. And intelligence itself only means something, I guess, if it's put into action, right? So you're talking about the sort of some of the social pressure that can be on you
Yes.
to express your intelligence.
Well, it seems that we have, as an academic and one who's looking quite a bit at the integration of cognition and affect, the way that you describe reinforces my sense that much of what we define to be intelligence is it's a quite brittle definition, and it doesn't encompass what we mean. So it's worked in school contexts to sort of filter people or say, you're good at this, you're good at that, when really it's a very, as I say, brittle definition. And there's something far greater in terms of what intelligence can be and should be.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not only academic, I think. Of course, it's part of being intelligent to know things, but it's what you make of that intelligence. It's what you decide, your own choices, and how you're capable of achieving things. So that's another part of the intelligence, I think.
What should we be doing in schools to nurture that kind of intelligence?
Ooh, that's hard. I would love for school to maybe develop like creativity in general, like not only art, but just maybe like 1 hour or 2 hours every week of creative things. So it could be like do a project with your class, like a show and tell. I don't know, like create a recipe all together on a theme. Just be creative. I think that would help a lot of students and to try different things and to be a little less academic, maybe.
You can relate this experience from Greece or from your seeing your book on a small Greek island. That can be an answer, or more generally, can you give a favorite memory of your experience with those who have read and seen your books and in writing? A favorite memory?
Yeah, this memory I can tell you. So I'm very happy to. So my books have been translated in like 40 different languages, and once I was on vacation on a very small island in Greece, and it was a very small village, and there was this bookshop, and I just came by and I saw my book in front of the bookshop, and it was all like the colors were all faded by the sun. But I was like, wow, it's so like it's such a privilege to know that the people here on this small island are seeing my work. So I think like every time I'm traveling, seeing my books, same. I've been to Japan, and I was in that bookshop in a small neighborhood, and my book was on the top of the, like hidden somewhere. It was not in the middle, but I was like, oh, that's my book. And it was translated in Japanese, and I was like, wow, it's so cool. So I think that's one of
it has to be very rewarding.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to, when you're traveling, to try to see your work and see that so many people can see it around the world.
That's great.
Well, it's a testimony to your extraordinary talent and your productivity and the amazing work you've done and continue to do as an artist, as a child's illustrator. Thank you for all of your contributions to education and to the vision that you're lightening up in children's minds. It's been great talking to you, a real privilege. Thank you for coming, Marion.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you.